Hello, I'm Aldwyn Altuney.
And I'm Michael Thompson.
And welcome to
another episode of Movie Review TV. Movie Review TV. We see films as they are. Rate them out of 5 stars. Movie Review TV. Movie Review TV.
Woo! Excellent job there, Michael. I must say, beautiful original song there for Movie Review TV.
Well, a quarter of the song anyway.
A bit of the song.
It's a jingle.
It's a taste test.
Yeah,
wait for the full version one day.
Yeah, that's right.
And welcome to Movie Review TV. We are very pleased to be with you today because we have a very different movie review now coming up of a movie called Walking Out. Very interesting film. So what is this about, Michael?
I won't go walking about telling you. I'll just
walking
tell you straight.
Out. Walking about if you're in Australia.
Go walk about.
Yeah, that's right, walk about.
That's what Aboriginals do.
That's right, they do. We go walk about in Australia.
But I like go walk about.
We won't go
stay here.
We'll stay right here.
Review this film.
We'll review the film and we'll let you know a little bit about Walking Out.
Okay. Walking Out. The 2017 American drama film was directed by Alex and Andrew J. Smith. The story follows a city teenager who travels to Montana to go hunting with his estranged father. The trip soon becomes a battle for survival when they encounter a grizzly bear. It stars Matt Bomer, Josh Wiggins, and Bill Pullman. It was screened in the US Dramatic Competition section of the 2017 Sundance Film Festival. It was released in late 2017 by IFC Films and filmed on location in Livingston, Paradise Valley, and Bozeman, Montana.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Thank you for that, Michael. And very, very interesting film. Now, I must say, being an animal lover, going to see a film about hunting was very difficult for me because I would just want to save all the animals. Right? So whenever they go to shoot an animal in this film, I just want to put their guns down. However, I looked beyond that and looked at the story behind the story here. And it was very much a film about coming of age, with a father showing his son how to hunt, and that had been passed through the generations. And it was also interesting that the hunting was very specifically for animals that were going to be eaten. So they were very strict on not killing animals just for the sake of killing animals, which I did like that point of the film, that don't just kill animals to murder an animal just for the sake of it, as game hunters do, as some people do out there with the trophy hunters that kill elephants and lions. They should be personally shot, I think. I think it's disgusting, that kind of stuff. And the fact that there's actually, I couldn't believe I heard the stats on this, there's about 20 million game hunters in America and there's only 2 million game. So there's 10 times the number of hunters in America than there are game, according to the American Hunting Association. It's insane. So obviously hunting it's obviously a very masculine thing. It comes with testosterone with being a guy.
Yeah, that was very much pointed out in the film, wasn't it?
Guys are hunters. I guess caveman times.
There's a rite of passage, I think, for some families, isn't there?
Yes, it is.
Maybe just in the West that applies to. They think they've got to go out and shoot something in order to prove their manhood.
Yeah, exactly. So there were some scenes in this movie that were really hard to watch. And I guess the story behind that was this amazing bond between the son and the father, who initially were quite disjointed because they hadn't seen each other for a while, because the son was away for school and came back to see his dad in the holidays. So there was initially not a close bond. However, the bond really drew through this experience. And I guess that is, part of the coming of age. It's part of the bonding that happens between a father and a son, I'd imagine. Not being a guy, I could, see what was going on from the outside from my perspective. And I thought the son and how he was portrayed in this movie was absolutely remarkable as far as resilience towards the end, following a quite dramatic, unexpected experience that happened during this film, which is really kind of the climax, is when the two of them go out on a hunting trip and come across a grizzly bear in the snow, and what they actually did in that moment. And very interesting part of the film from there on, and how that went. And it really became a game of survival from then on for them. And
yes, it was very gritty, realistic drama.
Yes.
Wasn't it? I'm not sure how close to real life that this particular story actually was. But it seemed like it could happen to anyone, because a lot of people, have been lost and have and accidents happened to them in the wilderness, haven't they? They've come across live animals, dangerous animals, and they've been attacked. Some people that have gone out hunting. So even people that haven't gone out hunting, they've just been out in the wild, and they've suffered some sort of attack by a grizzly bear, especially if you're out in well, this is Montana, isn't it? So it's near the Canadian border. So you're bound to see a lot of grizzly bears and moose. Obviously, moose won't attack you, will they? But obviously, bears will, and they're very dangerous. They sort of like kangaroos are dangerous in Australia, and grizzly bears are even more so, I think, over in Canada and Montana.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think animals by nature would attack humans for no reason. I actually think there's a bit of karma coming back to humans that are attacked by animals personally. Now, this is going, a bit beyond probably some people's comprehension who are watching this right now, but I really believe in karma, and what you put out comes back. And I think if you go out to hunt an animal, to kill an animal, I think animals have a sixth sense about that. And I think that they may just attack for their own safety because they feel that you might be wanting to attack them, possibly, right? So it's just, a bit of a hunch I get, that people who may be attacked by animals, that maybe they've put out a bit of bad energy towards animals at some point, and the karma's coming back.
Yes, it was a very gritty and realistic drama, and it had great cinematography, didn't it, all throughout the film, of the whole landscape out there in the wilderness.
The landscape was
and obviously in winter time,
yes,
because everything's covered with snow.
Yeah,
out there in the Montana wilderness. So, and there's some really great and interesting shots, weren't there? Panning over the mountains there.
Yes,
which is
spectacular.
Very
scene.
Engrossing to see.
I thought it looked a bit like New Zealand. I thought it might have been like some parts like the Remarkables in the South Island,
well, maybe
in New Zealand.
Okay, maybe it reminded you of The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
since that was actually filmed in New Zealand. It had similar sort of open scenery like that.
And The Hobbit, the huge mountains, some spectacular scenery. I must say at the beginning of this film, it was a little bit slow for my liking, and I found myself almost sort of nodding off in parts of the film because it was so slow. However, I found that after the dramatic event happened, when the grizzly bear appeared, that after that, things definitely got a lot more interesting, a lot more exciting in this film. So I would suggest, if you are going to watch it, just hang in there, because it does get a lot more interesting as the film goes on.
Yep. So my advice is go and see it. Just to see a really raw drama. That possibly could happen. At any stage for someone that lives out of civilization, basically out in the woods or in the wilderness, because I'm sure they cop the harsh elements of nature, don't they? If they're out living by themselves in the cabin, or even outside. Some people even live outside, don't they? Like people in Siberia, for example.
Yes.
So yes, it definitely shows you what it's like, to live in the elements. And try and cope with that, especially and obviously, as this film points out, you got to cope with it just to survive.
Well,
you never know what can happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, they put themselves out there. They didn't have to put themselves out there. They had a warm cabin, and I'm sure there would have been a shop up the road which would have sold food. However, the way they portrayed it is that they were out in the middle of nowhere on their own, and that they needed to hunt for survival. That was almost the image that was portrayed. So, obviously in parts of the world, that kind of thing would happen, and people, would need to go out hunting for food, I guess.
Well, they wanted to be away from it all, as the father said to the son. At the very start, he was, playing a game with his mobile phone, and his father basically said, "Get rid of it. You won't need it, do you?"
Yeah, you won't need the phone where we're going, and he had no reception out there anyway. So yeah, that was interesting. So that's interesting. What would you do if you had no reception on a mobile phone and you're stuck in the middle of snowy wilderness with a whole lot of wild animals and no one else around, and it's even hard to trace your own steps and find out which way you came from sometimes.
Yeah, so that's right. It's very easy to get lost out there.
So it really is very much going back to the tribal instincts, I guess, of tracking steps and tracking, looking at certain trees for markings and tracking your way back to home base that way.
And the young fella thought that it was pretty much getting away from it all just by leaving his mobile phone behind and staying in a log cabin in the wilderness. It became even worse than that.
Yes,
as the film came on, it was a battle for their very lives. Yeah, wasn't it out there? So,
it was interesting. Very well acted, considering the minimal number of characters in this film. It really was only a few actors in this film, and it's amazing what you can do with just such a small cast.
It's such a simple story, wasn't it?
Very simple story.
As I said, it could happen to anyone, couldn't it?
Yes, it could.
And it probably has.
It probably has. It probably has. Yes, or worse things could have happened as well. So, yeah, I must say, it was hard to watch them hunting animals, and the way they twirled those birds, that was a bit hard for me to watch. And I was thinking to myself, I hope that no animals have been harmed in the making of this film. Well, it's only a movie, and yes.
Well, there's a few more gory bits in it.
There were. They shot some,
as you might expect from a hunting,
big pheasant-looking duck things. I don't know what they were. They were big birds. They had some big birds there that they showed, and they were shooting birds. And when they caught them, they'd swing their bodies around by the head.
It comes with the territory.
And that's obviously, maybe it breaks their neck quickly. Hopefully it breaks their neck quickly and they don't suffer long. So really not a good movie for me as an animal lover to watch.
That's what I was thinking. I was actually thinking at the start that you would like this film.
Yes. Yes.
It wouldn't appeal to you at all, would it?
It didn't really appeal to me. However, I tried to look beyond that because, I get that that's what some people do, and some people do that for survival. And I get that in the early days that a lot of hunting was going on because that's how they needed to survive. I mean, nowadays, people can live very happily and healthily.
Well, people had to fight off wild animals, didn't they? Maybe,
yeah.
In the 19th century.
Yeah.
And before, but not necessarily now, do they?
Well, vegans will say that, the strongest animals on the planet are vegan, which is gorillas, elephants. They're some of the strongest animals, and they just eat grass, or they just eat, they don't eat meat. So it's interesting, what we think about meat and what could be the truth as far as, your blood tests, etc. Because I know a few vegans that have had blood tests that have been really healthy, have shown really healthy. So I think, it's interesting. I think a lot of people are now moving that way, are moving more to a vegetarian or vegan diet. And they're feeling healthier, they're feeling lighter, they're feeling more energized. So you don't necessarily need to eat meat, I think. However, this is another controversial topic that some people will obviously dispute.
Well, I'm afraid the characters in this movie weren't vegetarians.
No, they definitely weren't vegans. No,
they wouldn't buy into that in the wilderness.
No,
when they're by themselves, starving in the cold. So
yes,
I'm afraid they had to. They definitely had to eat raw flesh.
Yeah, well, there wasn't really much else that they could eat out there, I don't think. I mean, if you're out in a situation like that, I couldn't see any berries or fruit on any trees or anything like that.
No, they didn't have any choice, did they?
So I guess in that case, that's a bit tricky. However, putting the animal part aside, I think the cinematography was great. I think the acting was brilliant. With the actors were fantastic. The soundtrack, the suspense was built up really nicely at the end. So yeah, overall it was still good viewing.
What would you give? I'm tossing up between 3.5 and 4.
I was going to say 3.5, and then I thought there's just a slow bit there that before the drama with the bear, it was just a little bit slow in that section. It kind of dragged on a little bit there for my liking, so I'm giving it 3 for this one.
But it was realistic though, so I guess you have to give the appearances like it was sort of drawn out,
right,
to get into the whole feel of the film. If you're out in the wilderness in the cold, you got to have a slow moving movie, I think.
Yeah, I guess so, because you would move pretty slowly through the snow, right? And they were moving because.
And I wanted to give you the impression that this is, like a real life, drama.
Yes.
I wanted to give you that impression.
Yes, which they did.
So I know it wouldn't appeal to you, all the obviously, since you're an animal lover, all the animal killing, etc. And these were hunters.
Yeah.
So more appealed to me.
Yeah.
So because I'm a guy.
Yes, you are.
Well, I haven't done any hunting recently, but it appeals to me more. Yeah, so I'm giving it 4.
It was a bloke's film.
4 stars.
4. Okay, you give it 4. I give it 3. And
there's no girls in this. Oh, there was one at the end. I'll just tell you that. But it's very much a guy's flick.
Yeah, it was
not a chick's flick at all.
Definitely a guy's flick. And it is nice to see guys bonding like that.
They did share some intimate moments, I guess you could say. Like father and son relationship was good.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, and they shared a bit of the father's relationship with the son as well. They did some flashbacks to that too.
Flashbacks that showed some of that as well.
Yeah, so it was a generational type film. It showed how obviously hunting had come through the generations in this particular family, and the tradition of hunting. And with these guys, I thought it really was great, once again, that they didn't just kill for the sake of killing. They didn't just kill to murder an animal and leave the animal. They actually killed to eat. And I understand
that was pointed out with the moose.
Yeah, with the moose scene. There was a moose scene that was quite dramatic, and the eyes on that moose. I mean, it's amazing how they did this footage actually with these animals. I don't know how they created it, but it would have been.
Well, it seemed like you were out there in the wild, right beside them. So.
Well, yeah, you felt like you were right there, and it all looked really real. So. Usually with these kinds of films, they usually say no animals were harmed in the making of this. I couldn't actually see that on the bottom of this film, but maybe I missed it in the credits. So, but normally that's the kind of thing. Normally there's people looking over the animals and monitoring that kind of thing and making sure that the animals aren't actually harmed in the movie. However, that was
maybe you could send them an email just to.
Yeah, just to double check.
Find out, just to confirm.
Just to confirm the animal's okay. Well, the ones that were eaten, obviously, whatever they were eating, obviously those animals were gone. But yeah, and then there was the connection with some animals too. They also showed the other side of, because they didn't just kill every animal they saw. There was some bonding moments that happened between the guys and certain types of animals as well in the film, which was interesting. So yeah, there was quite a bit of depth to the film for a simple kind of film.
Yeah,
it's quite deep on quite a few levels. And I think overall though, I think it's great to see guys bonding and guys sharing, and some father-son family bonding happening as well. And I understand too with hunting that that some animals can be a pest or a problem to certain countries. Like, we've brought cats into Australia, we've brought foxes into Australia, cane toads into Australia, and they've killed a lot of the wildlife. So I do understand there needs to be some control over some types of animals.
But not for this movie. This is just
this wasn't about that.
shoot the animal and become a man movie.
Yes, it was. Yes.
Rite of passage.
Yes, there was. Right. Yeah, exactly.
which some families have, I guess, don't they? So,
and you think with the Jewish tradition, you know, they have the bar mitzvah, isn't it? With the boys, you know, become men when they're 13 and get circumcised.
Yeah, that's right.
Or something like that. And a big party happens, you know. So there's different traditions and cultures, I guess, right across the world, and this is one of them.
Yes, and the young guy. And initially reneged, didn't he, on shooting wild animals? He didn't want to do it.
He didn't want to do it. And I was right there with him.
He manned up, put it that way.
Well, so, I guess so, yeah. Or gave in to temptation.
So he changed face a bit.
Yeah.
During the course of the film.
Yeah. Became a man, as they say. Yeah, he did what his dad wanted and followed in his dad's footsteps, literally. So, so interesting viewing. And
for a male bonding movie, go see it.
Yeah.
That's why I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think you still enjoy it. I did enjoy it as much as it was hard to watch. So, yeah. So go see it if you like that kind of film. It was a drama, so don't expect to laugh very much in this film.
Or at all.
Or at all. I don't think there was one section in there at all where I actually laughed. So, yes.
So go see Daddy's Daycare too.
Yes.
If you want to,
yes, or I Feel Pretty.
Comedy,
I Feel Pretty is coming up
I'm sure
on Sunday. That's
a chicks flick. So that's the opposite of this one.
That's the opposite of this one. Yes, that's to balance things out. So, yes, coming up at Star Casino this Sunday at 2:00.
Oh, really? Is it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's only in 2 days' time. So, yeah, I will be there. And if you have been watching this, thank you so much for watching Movie Review TV. Have you seen Walking Out? If you have, what did you think of it? We'd love to hear your feedback. So pop a comment under this video and let us know what you thought of the movie. And what do you think about hunting in general? I'm also curious.
Well, I hope you won't be walking out of this movie. It's worthwhile sticking through, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it is. Yes. And there's a lot that goes into a movie and lots of people behind the scenes, despite the few people at the front of the screen in this movie. It was obviously a massive effort to put it together. So congratulations to the makers of Walking Out. And
yes,
I think it's time for a drink, don't you, Michael?
Yes, and our famous red wine. It's was it McEwan? What was the name of this red wine?
Something like that.
McEwan.
Yes, it's very nice.
McEwan.
Very nice, smooth red wine. So cheers.
You can taste all the berries.
Yes. And we will clink and we will drink
as well.
And
McEwan red wine.
We don't drink excessively and we are definitely not drunk, but a little bit of red wine is very good for your health, they say.
It's relaxing.
It is relaxing. So thanks again for joining us. Love to see your comments. If you like what you've seen, also share this video and support us in future and check out our other videos. This is our 25th one now that we've done of Movie Review TV. So check out our other ones and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, Aldwyn Altuney channel, and share the love. Share the love and save the animals.
And see the Movie Review.
Save the animals, that's what I say.
The Movie Review TV channel as well on Facebook.
Yes.
As well as YouTube.
Exactly. Movie Review TV, you can like that also on Facebook and share that. And we will be back soon with more from Movie Review TV. And if there's a movie that you want to see us review, let us know. We'd love to do that for you.
Yes, we would.
We would.
Give us some suggestions.
Yes, some suggestions. What sort of movies would you like to see reviewed?
What movies would you think?
Well, I really like comedies because I like to feel good coming out of a movie personally. So I like comedies. I'm a bit of a sucker for romantic comedies, maybe a bit old-fashioned in that way.
Yeah, I like romantic. I like comedies as well.
Yeah, I do like
Daddy's
comedies.
Daycare too.
Yeah. I don't mind the odd action, the odd suspense. I really don't like horror movies in general. Horror movies just make me feel really, not for me. I don't like horror movies. And some sci-fi I don't like either.
But yeah, well, whatever. If there's a good movie that's out recently, send us a message and tell us, go see it. You got to see this right now.
Yes,
we'll see it.
Yes, like The Greatest Showman. Now, if you haven't seen The Greatest Showman, you must see The Greatest Showman. We've both given that 5 stars each. It's the only film out of the 25 we've done so far that we've given 5 stars each to. And yeah, check it out if you haven't. That is another awesome, inspiring film. A bit like A Wrinkle in Time, personally. Well, I mean, quite different, but a bit like it, as in they're both very inspiring films.
That's right.
Which is great to see. Great to see more inspiring films coming out and more good news. So thanks again for watching. Thanks for supporting Movie Review TV, and catch us again soon.
Yep,
We'll
have
see
a
you
good
again
night.
soon. Have a good night or a good day or good morning, wherever you are in the world. And
see you later.
Share the love. Bye for now.
Have a good time.
See you.
Like we are.